Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Good day, good day. How are we all doing? I hope we are all good. So it's been a while since we've had a session, but I'm now back. So let's get started. So I'm just going to quickly start with B1000. I'm just going to quickly mark out the range which we are currently trading in. The last one. So if you notice, these are just like whole numbers. If you understand quarters theory, then you can use these numbers here. If you understand quarters theory, I'll try to share a book on this in the group if I get time. So for now, we're currently dealing within the 16,000 and 15,000 range. That's where we're currently dealing. So in terms of directional bias from where the range started, you can see price was selling. Then we hit this low, we came back up, took out liquidity, extended the lows, pulled back. So for me, these are lower highs and lower lows. It looks like it's a downtrend all the way to 15,000. But intraday, we are currently on the 13 EMA on the daily, which is a dynamic resistance. So from here, price might potentially sell, but at the same time, if we can break above that level, if we can break above, it looks like it's also just above today's high. Let me zoom in so that you guys can see what I'm talking about. So if you notice from this low here, this is the visible order block we have. So this order block is too big since it's the daily chart. We need to get some levels which we can use intraday. So I'm going to switch to the line chart. From here, I have this low broken, which was broken, and this low price came up. So I've got a zone somewhere in there. So let me see if I can be able to just have like an estimate. Okay, something like this. We're just going to make it straight. So 15,420, that's my zone. 15,420. Okay, just made it straight there. Come back to the candles, jump to H4. So on the daily, in terms of a bias for today, I do not have a bias to say I'm selling or I'm bullish. Just because we are right on the 13 EMA, price can go either way. Price can either push up or push down. When it pushes up, they might also bounce off the 50 EMA. They might take liquidity above here and still sell. They could just bounce off here and sell. They could actually continue pushing up. So anything can happen based on what I'm looking at on the daily. Then if I jump to H4, you will notice that we've got this order block here. So we're just going to mark those. These are points of interest. Okay, the exact price of this order block is 15,250. Let's use 250. Let's see how it's going to look like. Okay, we've got this point of interest right there where price can potentially pull back down to before going up. The reason I'm saying that is because if you notice here, we've got a flat TDI, then here price was pushing down. So for me, that's a form of a divergence. So chances are price can still push up to these highs here of this week. Maybe we could potentially continue going up. But on this one, I cannot buy until we break this level. So remember, this level is this one here, the one we pinpointed on the daily. So price could reject, drop down, or they could drop down, push up. So a lot of things can happen. That's why I was saying on the daily, the bias is not too clean. So on the 4 hour, again, we're going to wait and see. Sorry, on the H1, we're going to wait and see if we can come back to this 4 hour order block. If we can come back here, then I'll most likely be looking for longs around this area here, around 15250. I'll most likely be looking for buys, right? Then again, price might just push up from where it is. That means if we can break 15,420. If we can break 15,420, I'll also be looking for longs. So these are my 2 points of interest for today. So I've got 15,420. If we can break there, I'm looking for longs. Looking forward for price to get around 15,550. Anyway, from 15,500 to 15,550, I'll be looking forward to TP around there. Otherwise, if price comes down, my next point of interest is 15,250. So I would say these are the two areas I'm looking forward to buy from if I'm going to get a buy. But again, remember to take your trades. If you've got your moving averages, let your 13 EMA be your best friend. So we're looking to take any longs as long as we're above the 13 EMA. We're looking to take longs. This means if this price pushes down, remember will be below the 13 EMA. So if we push down and come back above and close above the 13 EMA, then we'll be looking for those longs. So I'd say for B1000, that's my view. For C 300, you can see this fib, we drew it a couple of days ago when we had our last sessions. You can see from here, I don't think I took any trades. I wasn't trading. But this fib, we ran it from this low to this high, and we were active around these days. So price came to 38.2, bounced off this level as well, this level as well. Then they just continued. This would have been your first scaling TP1, TP2. This is for those who trade both ways. Personally, for me, remember, for crash, I only look for sells. For booms, I only look for buys. So if you were looking to buy this, I hope you caught this buy because this was like a high time frame buy, which was actually a swing trade. So looking at it today, it looks like after hitting TP2 area, the price looks like it's selling. So let me see if I've got any objects on this chart so that I can quickly remove them. Clear the chart. All right, so from here, my highest level would be here. You can see to the left, that's where my highest level is coming from. So these two highs here, I'm not really looking too far. Okay, let's just use the weekly. So on the weekly, you can see we've been steady bullish there, but we still haven't hit like the highs or the high levels of this weekly chart. So this gives room for price to potentially keep pushing up. So we are open to seeing a continuation of buys, but at the same time, price needs to retrace. So remember, after every impulsive move, you need a retracement, impulsive move. So here we can get a potential retracement. So I'm very open to taking a sell if it presents itself. From this high, I would say this is a visible order block. This is also an order block where price currently is. So we could get a continuation sell. Where is this sell going to get to? I think I'm going to use the 50 EMA on this one. I'm going to try use the 50 EMA for now until we break it. Then the sales might get long term, but for now I'm just going to use this since on the daily we are pushing up. On the H1, we've got, okay, this is the last low. This is yesterday's lows, actually. Yesterday's lows. So let me actually remove it. If we can come and stay below yesterday's lows again, that's a short-term sell all the way maybe to the 200 EMA. That's a possible. So as I'm scrolling down the time frames, I'm looking for a potential point of entry. So as it stands right now, if I'm to take a trade here, I want to see price come take out these highs. So I'm looking for something like this, then a push down. That's what I'm looking for here. That's what I'm looking for. Yesterday's lows, if we can come back below, then break, then target the day before yesterday's lows as well, all the way to this red line. But before I sell, I want to see a retracement. If I had sold here, it was going to be best. But as you can see, we're analyzing this trade is already in motion. And it's dropped about 73 points, 73 pips already. So for C300, I feel like since our setups are usually 50 to 100 pips in for a reward or for a target, price has already moved 70 plus pips, so I cannot enter a sell here. I'd rather wait for price to retrace, maybe take out these highs. I would say that's where I would safely look for sells. But as it is looking right now, I do not have any setup and I do not have any entry here. I would rather wait. If they want to drop, let them drop. Then I'm still open to getting that retracement back above this last order block. So if you open your H1, this last order block you see, or this last green candle just above it, if we can get above there, then I might consider sells. But otherwise, as it stands right now, I do not have an entry and I do not have a setup. So that's it for C3. Then C5, you can see we rejected this area at the top a few days ago. I haven't been active. You can see from this day here, from this day, that's where I was off chart. So I've been offline for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, almost 6 days. I've been away, guys. I've been away, so bear with me, but I'm back though. So let's see what they do have for us. So we've been bearish for the most part coming back from this. I remember I actually wanted to catch a sell after this retracement. I wanted to catch a sell, but it's funny that the time that I'm away, that's when the sale actually happened. So I'm not sure if any of you guys caught it, but if you're following our zooms, then I'm sure you caught this trade. For swing traders, I'm sure you held, but for us day traders, we're actually looking to jump into this trade. So what points of interest do I have? I've got this particular order block here. I'm just going to unshade it. Okay, we do have an order block there. Okay, just a moment, guys. Because these days I'm also actively trading in the mornings. So that's why you also see I'm on currencies. I'm heavy on currencies these days. So that's why you also haven't been seeing me on synthetics. So I'm just checking something quickly. All right. So I've got an order block here on C5. This is on the daily and we are bearish. This is a clean bearish move. We'll most likely get to the 200 EMA at least, or we'll most likely get to these lows here. So the price line there is 42.60. 42.60. So if we can get a sell, I think 42.60 can work as a target. All right, on H4, I'm not so happy with it because there's so many order blocks here. There's no clean supply which we can use except this daily zone. But again, at the same time, the daily zone is too big, as you can see. So within this daily zone, on the 4 hour, we have this imbalance here between this candle and this candle. We do have an imbalance there. So that makes it a point of interest for me. Let me actually shade this one. Okay, so that's a point of interest. If price can retrace back up into that daily zone, within that zone, there's a 4 hour imbalance, which I see inside that zone. So if we can get to 44.50, anywhere between 44.45 to 44.55. So there's a 10 pip imbalance in there. If we can get price coming back in there, then we'll most likely get a sell. I'll say for now, that's the only thing which I can see, which I can potentially use. I'm not happy with this price action because, like I always say, my system mainly works on impulsive moves, retracements, and retests. So on this one, where you can price retest, you can see we have all these order blocks. So it can be a bit tricky to get an entry here. But if something presents itself maybe on a lower time frame, I might consider sells. But otherwise, that gray zone you see, that's my point of interest, which means I'm still open to seeing this price actually start pushing up, pushing up. It could happen today, it could happen tomorrow. then I'll be looking for sales. Otherwise, besides that, what else can we use for a sell here? Okay, we've got yesterday's lows, prices already hit. So could we get a continuation down? Yes, we could. That's what we're currently looking for now. Can we get a sell from CMP? Okay, we had a nice bounce off the 50 EMA here. Okay, we've got a nice order block here. So if I'm to take a sell without waiting for price to get up there, this order block here is the one I would use. This order block here, that's the one I would use. So as the price retraces here, I'll be happy to take sales. The reason is I've got yesterday's lows right there. So that gives me something to work with. I've got yesterday's lows right here. I've got the 50 EMA right there as well. So already I've got an M pattern. And from this pattern here, or from this high, this is also an order block. So we've got confluences making this zone here, this whole zone, a strong zone to hold price. The only thing we want now is a potential retracement and a drop. So I would say this point of interest and the one above, those are the 2 points of interest where I can safely sell from based on what I'm looking at right now. So for now, I'll say if we can actively stalk on C5, we can potentially get a setup. But at the same time, just pay attention. If price starts to push up and break the current highs, just know that we could be coming to this 4-hour zone at the top there. But otherwise, if we get a price respecting this order block on M15, then we'll most likely get that sell which we are looking for. TDI and everything else is looking bearish, so we can get that sell we want. So let's just wait, see if we can pull back. Then if we do, we can execute our sell. That will also be near the, okay, let me just get the exact price here. So 43.55 is the zone. 43.55, that's the zone. 43.55, that's the zone. So if we can get price pulling back up there, 43.55 to about 43.65. So also have a 10 pip zone here, which we can work with. So let me actually remove this and use this. Then I'm just going to unshade it. Okay, so that's my point of interest there for sales. If price can get in there, I'm definitely going to be looking for sales. Then we jump to C1000. C1000, from the last time we traded, this is what we had on our charts. Okay, I don't think there's anything I can use right now, so I'm just going to remove all of these. Okay, so many markings here. Okay, there you go. We almost done, almost. Okay, I'm just going to leave the one on the TDI. Okay, so from what we have on the daily, you can see we've got a range for this whole month of June. Price hasn't been going too far. We do have a range for this month. So we've got these highs here. And we've got these lows here. So we're just going to keep it simple. If price breaks these lows, we are going to attempt to take a breakout sell. If we break these lows, remember this is the daily, and we will be targeting these lows on the bottom here on the daily chart. So if we can break yesterday's lows, I think yesterday's low will guide us. If we can break yesterday's lows, Then we'll look forward to break this whole zone in general. Then we'll look for a sell. That's number one. Then number two is price might still decide to come up here into this order block here. So I'll just zoom in so that you see this order block we have at the top here. Price can still decide to come there. So that's 55, 65, 55, 65, just making that line straight. So that's my point of interest. If we can get here and get a sell, then we'll most likely look forward for price to come back down here. If we break yesterday's lows, we'll take a sell in anticipation of a break of this level where we're going to end. So if we do get a break and a retest, we'll end. If it's a fake out, we'll still catch some pips because we want to take it right at the break of yesterday's lows. So with that in mind, I'm just going to come to H1. That's where we're going to be stalking this sell. We're just going to wait on H1. We keep in mind yesterday's lows right here. If we break that, we're selling. Right now, there's no setup here. If you sell, it's a gamble. There's no for me personally, there is no setup until we break this. Then if we come up, I'll also be, maybe we might get something around these moving averages if price decides to come up before we get a sell. So all we need is a pattern for this level to be valid. But otherwise, we've got this point of interest. We have this point of interest, and we have this point of interest. These three are my only points of interest where I can safely sell from. So I'm going to leave this on H1. Then B5 has been bearish again. You can see from the last time we marked these two whole numbers, 5,000 and 5,600. Those are the two whole numbers we had marked. So I'm just going to work with that. We've been bearish from the beginning of the month until we created this low. So this could be a change in price delivery. We could actually be starting a bullish move, although it could be short term. Okay, points of interest I have is this order block, which was broken. So we have the 13 EMA right there. Price can either push up or it can push down. If we do push up, we'll most likely see price come to 56,000, and we'll most likely see price come up to the 50 EMA as well. We're keeping an eye. Currently, the daily candle is bullish. So I'm just going to work with the H1 on this one. Once the H1 comes above the 50, above the 13 EMA, I'll start actively looking for a buy. Once we also break today's highs, I'll also be actively looking for a buy. But at the same time, remember, we might get a pattern like this. You see this pattern here where price actually came up aggressively after taking out this liquidity. We had a buy pattern. This was yesterday. So if we're trading yesterday, let me just give you a hint. Because I usually have people ask me these things. So from this high here, price was equally delivered until we left this tiny imbalance here. So that imbalance, you use it for TP. If you were buying yesterday, depending with where you bought from, let's say you bought from these lows after liquidity was taken, then definitely you were targeting that as you take profit. Then if price stayed above that imbalance or above that fair value gap, then you could have looked for a continuation since price was above the 13 EMA. But price failed to stay above and they came below the 13 EMA, which simply meant the sellers were in control. We also had a baseline bounce for sells here. So this buy was a short term. So knowing this kind of helps you determine whether you are in a long-term trade or you're in a short-term trade. So my point was this setup could also happen here. So we want to pay attention to how price reacts right here. If we stay above the 13 EMA and break today's high, then definitely we're going to see this price push back up to around 55.20. If we do break, then we'll most likely continue pushing up. So the TP will be open. At the same time, if price fails to break, then we could see this price trickle down again, maybe take out these lows. Then it will be a different setup altogether, which will be forming. But for now, I'll just leave my chart on H1 and I'll be looking at this as my buy area. If we can break and stay above here, I'm looking for a buy. That's my view on B5. So I'm keeping it simple on that one. Then B1000, we spoke about it. Step index, jumping to the daily. This is pretty much clear. Again, you can see we marked these levels like 5 days ago, like I said. So you can see from 5 days ago, whatever we marked, price then came and respected this level, started pushing up. We're now above the 13, which gives us sort of a bullish bias. But again, if we zoom in, okay, you will notice we've got this imbalance, which we had. I think the last session we had, we spoke about this imbalance, which gave us a nice sell. So it's going to guide us again right here. If price stays above, then we are definitely going to be long, and we look forward for price to get either to the 50 EMA or to the top of this range. So for this whole month, step index is ranging. We've got this high, we've got this low. So price is just trading within this range. So possibilities are price will come either here or here. But first, we need to close above this imbalance which was created here. And we also need to come above yesterday's high, which could actually give us a flip zone buy setup. So we have to wait for price to actually close above yesterday's highs, then we can consider a buy. But if we can get a buy, if you can get a buy pattern here, you can take the trade. Price is already sort of above the 13 EMA. We just need another close, maybe in 8 minutes time, then we can take the buy. So I would say if you're trading step index, maybe lean on buys, especially if we get those closes which I mentioned. If price does something else, then for now I do not have a setup. But if I'm on the charts later and I see something, then I'll advise you guys. Then last but not least, we've got J10. You can see the chart is clear here. Also haven't been trading. Pretty much clear. So on the daily, again, we've been bullish. This whole month we've been bullish. We've been bullish. So price started here. We manipulated. This is the distribution. So before the month closes, I'm looking forward for price to potentially retrace back into the range. Today is the 27th. We are left with what? With three days to close the month. So out of those 3 days, we're going to get at least 1 or 2 selling days. This is just based on understanding the market cycle and how price moves. So usually the market cycle is like this. Let me actually give you an example on the side. So price will open, it will consolidate, then it will manipulate or do stop hunts, then they will distribute, then they'll set a high, then they'll retrace back into the range to close off. So this can work on M15. This will be a daily cycle. On H4, this will be a weekly cycle. On the daily, this will be a monthly cycle. So here we've got the monthly cycle. We started with a nice consolidation right here. We came down, induced sellers, consolidated a bit. You can call it a stop hunt. We had a W pattern right on the 50. This is the pattern right there. Then from there, price started distributing up nicely with no glitches, no random choppiness, just a straight push up on the daily. So swing traders, this was for you. TDI also had a nice sharp fin here, right on the 50 EMA. So what we're looking for now is this price to now retrace to close off the month back in the range. So we're going to see if that will happen. Sometimes it doesn't happen, sometimes it happens, but for the most part, it actually happens. So we're going to see what happens. So let me see if this is a clean example. If you notice here, price opens for this month, it opened here, pushed down a bit, then we started delivering. We went sideways, we pushed up, then we dropped, we came back into this particular range. So that's something which we're actually looking forward to, though although the patterns are slightly different. But if we can be able to get a sell pattern from the top here, I think it's going to be a good trade. So let's keep stoking. Maybe if we can stay on which time frame will be best here. Okay, let's stay on the daily so that we can notice when we get a bearish day. Once we get bearish, we start looking for sells either from today, tomorrow, or the day after. We should get one good day at least where we're going to get a nice sell. So I think that's it for me today, and that's it for J10. Step index, we're leaning on potential buys. Once we break some levels, B1000, we've got this point of interest and this point of interest. B5, we've got this point of interest. It looks like price will actually push up. So let me see, maybe on M15, we've got a pattern. We've bounced on the 800 EMA. All right. So if we break 54.80, 54.75, 54.80, like I said, we'll definitely be taking buys here. C1000, we're waiting for it on the bottom or for it to come here on the moving averages or right on top. So no setup at the moment. C5, we're waiting for it right on this order block right here, this one here. Then C300s looks like it's actually dropping, but I said it will be best to wait for a pullback up right above this order block. Then we can take a sell. So that's it from me today, guys. I hope you guys were killing the markets. I saw some messages in the group, but I didn't have time to like go through everything. My schedule has been super hectic. But again, like I said, I'm back. So I'll try to drop these daily live chart analysis sessions. As long as I can get free, I'll just try to record it, then I'll share it for you guys. But most of the times now, mainly big on currencies. So in the mornings, we're trading German 40 or German 30. Then in the afternoons, we're trading US 30 and NASDAQ. So my schedule is pretty much hectic. In between, it's just like your normal back testing and premium sessions. So remember, these people who pay for premium sessions. So I need to put them like on a top priority before I share these type of analyses. So thank you so much, guys, for your time. Enjoy the rest of your day. If I'm free during the day, I'll drop signals, but please just make use of these live chat analysis, which I do, because sometimes I might not get time to share the signals when they actually happen. But if you are following price, then you'll be able to catch them. So thank you so much, guys, for making time. If you're watching this on YouTube and if you watched until the last minute, thank you so much. Let me know how your trading journey is going and let me know how we can assist. Thank you so much, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day. Good trading.